Well, this match is between the Australian schoolboys and the President's 13. I'll just introduce the teams. Firstly, for Australia, number 1, Craig Makepeace. I beg your pardon, number 1, Glenn Eyre. Number 2, Shane Buckman. Number 3, Ken Nagus. Number 4, Tim Horan. Number 5, Brett Grogan. Number 6, Craig Simon. Number 7, Andrew Harding. Number 8, Sean Ryan. Number 9, Josh Stewart. Number 10, Clinton O'Brien. Number 11, Anthony Pauling. Number 12, Danny Williams. Number 13, Barry Elsgood. The reserves for Australia: in 14, Andrew McElwain, 15, Sid Domick, 16, Tim Patterson, and 17, Craig Makepeace. And now the President's 13 side, wearing number 1, A.D. Spencer. Number 2, Ray Waring. Number 3, Paul Smith. Number 4, Phil Hepworth. Number 5, Steve Wild. In number 6, Phil Waring. Number 7, Ian Smith. Number 8, Martin Maiden. Number 9, John Clark. In number 10, Richard Tiffany. Number 11, Dave Smith. Number 12, Robert Appleyard. Number 13, Danny Barker. The referee is John Ward of Oldham. So the Australians have kicked it deep, the President's side, and just running the ball out now to the 22. That was some good defence by the Australian lads. Just at the moment the rain's eased. Let's hope it stays that way. A drop ball under pressure there, the President's 13. So it'll be the Australian feed to the scrum and it'll give them a chance to go into the attack. So the Australians have won the ball and taken it out to the blind side wing. There's a good run from dummy half from Stewart. He's thrown the ball to Grogan. Unfortunately, he's dropped the ball. So there'll be a scrum with a great bit and feed. There's a win against the head to Australia. They swing onto the attack. The ball's coming out along the back line to Horan. Out to Nagus. Buckman, he's pulled up just a couple of metres short. Tim Horan threw the dummy there, found there was a bit of a gap.
The Australian try was scored by
I beg your pardon.
number 4, Tim Horan.
He found the gap and he's dived over, so it's a try out wide to Australia. Well, I think the President's 13 were fooled there. They thought the ball was going to be shot straight out along the back line to the open side. Horan spotted that gap and dived over for what was a nice try. He'll now attempt to convert his own try. This, of course, is just the sort of start that Coach Solis would have been looking for. And that's a very good kick by Horan in these heavy conditions. So Australia now go to a lead of 6 points to 0 after just 2.5 minutes of play. Krogan gathered that ball and he's run it up just past the 22. Here we see Sean Ryan carting the ball up, met with some willing defence from the President's 13. Now Clinton O'Brien takes it up. Again, 3 and 4 tacklers from the President's side. Block Barry Elsgood there, making a couple of metres. Horan now has kicked the ball. Fullback's in good position, has gathered the ball. Met in good defence by Nagus and Buckman. Very willing Australian defence there. This time Simon and Buckman. I'd say is that's very unfortunate because we've not seen anything like that on the tour so far. Let's hope we don't see any more of it in the rest of the match. Referee's laying down the law to both captains now. It would appear that O'Brien for Australia has been given a word by the referee. It looks like a penalty coming to the President's 13. Australia being penalised from not being back 10 metres after that initial penalty. The result will be an attempted penalty conversion by the President's 13. I'd suggest that Josh Stewart, Australian captain for the night, at this point is trying to settle the Australian team down, get their mind back on playing some good football. penalty unsuccessful. And Horan's running the ball out now. Australians have been penalised there for interfering with the marker, it would appear. So the President's 13 have another opportunity here to go on the attack close to the Australian line. Ball turned back inside to one of the forwards. Strong run from the 13, Danny Barker. Attempted run from dummy half, doesn't realise much ground. Scrum half put a kick through. And it's been gathered by the Australians. They've got the ball a metre out from the line. There's a good clearing run from Sean Ryan. Knock on there against the Australians, so be it. President's feed. From the half to the 5'8", and the fullback comes steaming onto the ball there. He's pulled up a couple of metres out, and the Australians are scrambling to get back to the defensive line. Strong run from the second rower, Robert Appleyard. And the Australians have been penalised again for interfering in the play of the ball. President's 13 are taking a tap. In fact, they've decided to shoot for goal. In spite of the wet conditions, the lad should kick this, and it'll take the score to Australia 6, President's 13 2, if indeed he is successful. He makes no mistake. President's 13 2, Australia 6. That penalty was kicked by number 1, 80 Spencer.
This goes in, this goes there.
Some enterprising attack from the President's 13, coming unstuck there with a forward pass. So the Australians have an opportunity here to win this scrum and go on the attack inside the halfway mark. Harding takes the ball out. He's found a bit of space.
Get him still!
Lock Elsgood made a few metres there and he's passed off to Sean Ryan, I think it is. But again, some willing defence from the President's 13. Anthony Pauling there taking the ball up again, being met by 3 defenders. So the ball comes out along the back line now to Simon. He's turned it back inside the Horan, back into the halfback Harding. Australians about 15 odd metres out now. Ball goes out to Horan. Passed it back into Clinton O'Brien. The ball's still alive. He's throwing it around well here, the Australians. Simon spots a gap. He's thrown it now to Danny Williams, who's pulled up a couple of metres out. 5th and last for the Australians. The ball goes into touch. Both sides showing some fairly ferocious defence at this stage of the game. Ball's thrown back to the fullback. He's kicked it. He's found Glen Eyre in good position. He's now running the ball up, passes off to Buckman. Unfortunately, he's taken into touch by the President's defence. I'm sure Peter Solis wouldn't be very happy with that into touch on the first tackle. Great Britain win the ball. They'll find a bit of space, but the pass has gone astray, and for the Australians, Kenny Nagus has picked it up and made 10-15 quick metres. Craig Simon from dummy half spots a gap and makes about 8 or 9 metres in the middle of the ruck. Now what can the Australians do? First of all, a settler from Danny Williams. Josh Stewart from dummy half makes another few metres. Looks like it's backs ball. So Andrew Harding out to Craig Simon. Craig Simon has passed off to Danny Williams. And attempting to get a ball away, the President's 13 have gained possession. A very tough tackle there from Anthony Pauling. Ball's been picked up by Locke Elsgood, who's met with a fairly tough tackle. Australians swinging onto the attack. There's a knockback there in the slippery conditions, being gathered by Sean Ryan, who settles it. There's Clinton O'Brien, the other prop forward, running it up strongly. But again, the defence is still fairly willing at this stage. Second rower Anthony Pauling there taking what was a fairly marginal pass from halfback Hardy. Out along the backs now. Kicked through by Craig Simon. And the centre horn's been ruled offside by referee. Penalty, President's 13. One gets the feeling at the moment that both sides are just rushing things a bit. And the result is some mistakes fairly early in the tackle counts. I'm sure both sides will settle down as the game wears on.
Replacing number 11, David Smith.
Dave Smith, number 11 for the Presidents, has been now replaced by number 17, Ian Dunn. Great Britain just inside halfway, throwing out along the backs. Not really making any ground at this point. The scrum half has a little run, kicks the ball through. It's been fielded by Andrew Harding, but in the process he's knocked it on, so Great Britain will get the feed and get the opportunity to go on the attack right on the 22-metre. They win the scrum. Ball comes out along the back line. And a good strong run from Phil Hepworth for the Presidents. Again, another little attempted kick by the President's scrum half. It's been intercepted by the Australians, and now we see Craig Simon running it out strongly. Sean Ryan follows up and makes a few more metres. But again, three tacklers, 4 tacklers, such as the defence we've seen in the game so far. Nice neat pass from Harding back into Pauling then, resulted in another 5-6 metre gain to the Australians. And now Clinton O'Brien takes him up and makes another 5 or 6 metres. Harding kicks the ball. He's put it past the fullback. A.D. Spencer is now running it out to the 22. Met with a good tackle by Danny Williams. Williams again in another good slinging tackle. Some more dummy half running. I suspect we'll see a fair bit more of that in the game. We've seen a good bit so far already. Presidents have kicked the ball through. Harding's picked it up. He's now passed it out to Horan, who's made 30 or 40 metres. He still hasn't been effectively tackled, so he's still running. In fact, he's broken clear, and he scored a nice try in the corner. Very nice piece of work by Tim Horan. And after making, as I said, that initial 30 or 40 metres, he found the defenders had fallen off him, not effectively held. He kept running and has scored now his second try for the match out wide. And I suspect he'll attempt to try and convert his own try. So Australia now go to the lead of 10 points to the President's 13-2. Perhaps we'll now see the Australians settle into what has been a more traditional play. That is very disciplined play. To date, I'm sure, in the eyes of the coach, they've probably made too many errors. Mind, we must remember that although it's not raining heavily at the moment, there's some quite heavy rain here today, earlier this evening. Kick-off's taken by Harding, passes off to Sean Ryan, and again 3 defenders from the Presidents put him on the ground. Harding attempting to pinch a few yards in the middle of the ruck there. Now it's out to Clinton O'Brien, who passes off. Some good hands there from the Australians. I must admit, I'm not sure what the referees penalised Australia there for. They seem to be indicating a punch. I didn't see anything. I was watching the good passing from the forwards that was transpiring. So there'll be another attempted penalty conversion by fullback A.D. Spencer for the President's 13. This is right in front, some 27 metres out. Maybe a change coming for the Australian side. I can see McElwain warming up on the sideline. Penalties unsuccessful. Score remaining. Australia 10, Presidents 13, 2. Yes, prop second rower Andrew McElwain warming up on the sideline. So one suspects that perhaps a change in the forwards is going to be made shortly. Drop out by Horan. It's picked up right on the halfway mark by the President player. Again, another run from dummy half, but succeeds in only making about half a metre. Driven back in the tackle by the Australians. They're still only a metre out from the halfway. Good defence from the Australians. Very big tackle there by Craig Simon on his opposing 5'8", Ray Waring, causing him to jolt the ball free. Still trying to work out how Great Britain got the feed to that scrum, but anyway, they've won the ball, taken it across the field. They're just inside their halfway line. Australians have been penalised again for what appeared to be another referee signalling another punch thrown. Yes, a very good kick, good penalty there. So the Presidents are attacking now some 12-15 metres out. They make about 8 or 9 metres. Scrum half's got the ball. He passes off the ball out, still out along the back line. So we see an opportunity here, but good swarming defence from the half and 5'8" from Australia stopped that. Dummy half has found a gap. Scooted through, made a few metres, but in the end the referees ruled that the Australians have pulled the ball loose and given a penalty to the President's 13. They go on the attack again. The second rowers run the ball up. Another attempted run from the dummy half doesn't come to much. Some good strong defence from the Australian boys. Eltsgood that time and Danny Williams. Intercept there by Horan has brought that attack by the Presidents to a halt. But the ball has come free from Grogan and the Presidents have gone back on the attack, this time through the replacement player Ian Dunn. Makes a couple of metres. loose pass there from the scrum half out to the centre, Paul Smith. The ball's been put down and picked up this time by Clinton O'Brien for Australia. He's driven back quite a few metres in the tackle. Glen Eyre from fullback runs the ball infield, makes a couple of metres, and now we see Nagus from dummy half. Almost got through there, made another 8 or 9 metres. Now Sean Ryan's running straight and hard. Finds a gap, was able to pass off to Williams, who in turn passed off to Clinton O'Brien, I think it is. Pauling out to Clinton O'Brien. My vision's a bit constricted behind a post here. I didn't see what that last penalty was, but very, very heavy penalty count to the President's 13 at this stage of the game. Yet another penalty from their 22. So they'll go on the attack again, 8 or 9 metres inside their side of halfway. Ball's been put on the toe by the President's side, goes into touch 5-6 metres this side of the 22 metre. Australians win the scrum. Winger Grogan comes in off the 5'8", makes a few metres. Simon in dummy half, passes off to Pauling. Stewart, captain and hooker today, has a scoot from dummy half and makes half a dozen metres. And now it's Clinton O'Brien. Another strong run, making some yards for Australia. Good hands there along the backs to Barry Elsgood, who's come back in field, but has still managed to make about 20 metres. So the Australians now on the attack. A little chip from halfback Hardy. It's been towed ahead. Picked up by the Australian player there, but unfortunately couldn't hold it. So the ball will come back to the 22. Great scoring opportunity for Australia going by the wayside there. A couple of good rucks there, the President's 13, resulting in them making about 12 or 15 metres. And again, they kick a tactic they've used a fair bit in the game. This time the ball lands 5 or 6 metres inside sideline, and Buckman, the Australian winger, is unable to prevent it, goes into touch. Australians win the ball from the scrum. You see 5'8". Simon making some good yards inside the 22. This time the referee has ruled a punch thrown by, I think it might have been fullback for the Presidents, and so it's a penalty to Australia. Horan to put the ball into touch. Come off the side of his boot and only made about a yard. Second rower Williams takes the ball up strongly. Good pass from Pauling to Ryan, but equally a good tackle by number 13 for the Presidents, Danny Barker. Australians throwing the ball around there, but it was knocked down by Nagus. Eventually regathered by Simon, but it'll be a President's feed. They win the scrum. The winger almost found himself in the clear there, managed to make 10 metres. There to second rower Robert Appleyard, who made 15 odd metres presence on the attack. The ball goes out to their loose forward, who's met in a good tackle by Josh Stewart. They're about 18 metres out. They throw the ball. Still on the attack. The ball's been knocked down there. There'll be a resulting scrum. So what was a good opportunity for the Presidents has come unstuck, and there'll be a scrum now about 8 or 9 metres out with an Australian feed. Harding picks the ball up, makes a metre or two. Good run from second rower Anthony Pauling for Australia, is able to bring the ball inside, or out of the 22 I should say, as the ball goes across the backs again, but one feels that again they're just attempting to push the pass a bit, resulting in the Presidents getting the ball and having a chance to again go on the attack. This time the ball's been intercepted by Buckman. And that's half-time, ladies and gentlemen. So the score at half-time, Australia leading the Presidents 13 by 10 points to 2. So we're underway in the second half. Presidents have kicked off and the Australians have made a mess of it. Presidents win the scrum, the ball goes out along the back line to number 4, Phil Hepworth. Loose ball there has been dived on by Nagus for Australia. Been one change in the Australian lineup. Andrew McElwain just running onto the ball now. Is on. I just haven't picked up who's replaced as yet. A great kick there by the Australians have brought the ball right down to 10 metres out from the President's line. So it looks like it for the Australians. Clinton O'Brien is the one that's been replaced by Andrew McElwain. McElwain going in for a strong tackle there, assisted by Stewart. Now it's Williams and Ryan. Fullback kicks the ball. Australian fullback Glenn Eyre picks it up. Passes out to Horan, who's stepped inside a few players. Still going is Horan. Comes up to a couple of metres from the 22. Ball out to Elsgood, out to Nagus, who seems to be only cruising but is making good metres. He's pulled down about 10 metres out. Very deceptive running style has Nagus. Ball's been knocked down by the Australians. So there'll be the scrum with the feed to the President's 13. They win the ball out to the 5-8. Who finds good defence from Australian lock Elsgood and Craig Simon. Very strong defence again from the Australians. This time it's McElwain, Williams and Pauling. All very good tacklers. In fact, the same three affect the next tackle. This time it's Craig Simon and Sean Ryan do the defensive work. There's a great gap here. Very promising run of 20 or 30 metres came unstuck when the player for the Presidents threw the ball into blank space. It's been picked up by the Australians. Great ball there from Elsgood to Horn. Makes 15 metres. Josh Stewart has a run from dummy half and gets inside the 22, but makes 10 valuable metres. Glen Eyre in a dummy half out to Harding. McElwain steams onto the ball. Australians in good attacking position here. Harding throws the ball past Pauling, can't quite get to it. It's been gathered by Grogan, who just manages to stay inside the touch line. Harding's kicked the ball through and it's been dived on in the in-goal area by the President's 13, so there'll be a result drop out from under the post. So the Australians will be able to mount some further attack here. Sean Ryan runs the ball very strongly to within 15 metres of the line. Pauling takes a ruck. He passes on to Danny Williams, who's only 5 or 6 metres out. Penalty the Australians. They take a quick tap. Williams, front of the post, about 5 metres out. Stewart into dummy half. Out to Harding. 5'8" Simon. Fullback Eyre into the line. Quick play of the ball. Halfback Harding finds a gap. 5'8" Simon has pulled down, only just a metre out. Great chance here for Australia. Second row Pauling tries to dive over. Passes off to Tim Horan again, who goes in for his third try.
Number 4, Tim Horan.
Tim will attempt to kick this from in front. So that makes Australia 14, Presidents 13, 2, with the kick to come in front. With just 6 minutes of the second half gone, that's a start that Coach Solis would have been looking for. Settle down the play, get some points on the board first. I'm sure we'll see another strong showing in the second half from the Australians here today. Tim Horan kicked the inversion. So Australia now lead by 16 points to 2. Great run here by the lock Elsgood. He's still going. Just unable to get his pass away. Great run, about 50 odd metres, which results in a penalty. Quick tap taken by Danny Williams. The Australians in very good attacking position here, only 10 metres out from the President's line. Hooker Stewart spots a gap and makes another 10 metres, passes the ball back along the ground. Back line here, it's out to Nagus. And he's pulled down just a couple of metres out. What will the Australians do here? 5'8" Simon has spotted a gap and he's been able to score. He feigned to throw it out on the back line, stepped back inside, spotted a bit of a gap in the forwards and was able to dive over at 20 odd metres out from the post. So some more points for the Australians. And they move on to a lead of 20 points to 2. Version unsuccessful by Horn. Score remaining 20 points to 2. Strong run there from McElwain, who runs very straight. Sean Ryan manages to pop it off to McElwain. He's managed in turn to get it away to Nagus, who's made 25 metres. And the Australians again find themselves in a good attacking position as the rain comes tumbling down. It's out along the back line this time. Horan to Air, to Lock Elsgood, who's not effectively held. He gets up and keeps going. Craig Simon spots a gap. He's passed it on to Brett Grogan, who scored a very, very good try for the Australians in the corner. Well, that was great backup play by the Australians there. The ball touching many sets of hands, showing the great skill of the Australians under these rather trying conditions as the rain comes tumbling down. So that now takes the score onto Australia 24, Presidents 2. Kick in the very trying conditions, unsuccessful by Horan. This driving rain with the scoreline 24-2, only 11 minutes into the second half. This could prove a fairly trying half for the Presidents 13. The Australians clearly on top now. Another short kick-off. Bit of good work by the little hooker John Clark for the Presidents, who was able to play that ball through, dive on it. And now the Australians have been caught offside, giving the Presidents 13 a good opportunity to go on the attack. The crowd here have come out in these dreadful conditions, willing the Presidents 13 on. They'd like to see them score a try. Let's see what they can do here. Ball goes out to replacement Ian Dunn, who runs it up, makes a couple of metres. Out along the backs, but the ball's been dropped there. Australians dived on it, but the referee's ruled a scrum. An Australian feed. Australian wins the scrum. Harding has a run, makes a few metres. Met by his opposite. Sean Ryan, who's made some good metres this evening, runs it up strongly, and now Josh Stewart in turn makes some good metres for Australia. Beg your pardon, that was Glenn Eyre for Australia, and he's been penalised for an incorrect play of the ball. In general play by the Presidents 13, makes about 10 metres, but it'll be the Australian feed. Scrum into Australia. Fullback Eyre comes in and makes a few metres. Ball's been put down the slippery conditions and dived on by the prop for Presidents. Australians dive on loose ball, and it's Ryan who again takes it up strongly, making half a dozen metres. Josh Stewart from dummy half makes some more metres as the Australians move towards the halfway line. Tim Horan's call for the ball, and it looks to be a very good kick that's going to go into touch only about 8 or 9 metres out from the President's line. So great kick by Horan to that low end of the field. replacements now being made. The President's side with 14 and 15. Coming on.
Substitutions for the President's 13, number 14, James Mosley, and number 15, David Steve.
A very enterprising attack from Presidents, coming to a halt there as Grogan managed to push the President's player into touch. Simon straightens, makes a couple of metres. Australian fullback Lanier making a great run there, coming up only 5 or 6 metres short. The ball goes out along the back line to Simon, out to Sean Ryan standing in the back line, onto Horan, in turn onto Ken Nagus, who's bundled into touch. Barla, President's 13, win the scrum. There's an injured player for them at the moment. Unfortunately, number 6, Ray Waring, injured there and stretchered off, replaced by number 16, the President's side. So as play resumes in driving rain, the ball's been kicked through and gathered by halfback Harding, who passes off to Eyre, who's passed on to Boren, on to Grogan, who couldn't hold the ball, and the Presidents have regained the ball about 10 metres out from their own line. Kicked through by the Australians. Play on, says the referee. Linesman's run on. And he's reported what appears to be a punch from winger Grogan, so there'll be a penalty. The President's side. The ball's not into touch, so fullback Eyre collects the ball, runs across field. Stewart to Harding, finds Pauling. He's had a pretty strong game in the second row today. Back to Harding. To 5'8" Simon. Couldn't take it. Presidents have got the ball now. They run it out. Good tackle there from McElwain and also Danny Williams. Another driving tackle from McElwain. Danny Williams. Also Sean Ryan assisting there. This time it's Nagus. First one in for the tackle, assisted by Simon it was. Another penalty to the President's 13. Australians penalised for shouldering out of the way there by the look. Eddie Spencer puts it out. Takes the ball about 15 metres inside the Australian half, giving the Presidents another chance here to try and score their first try. It's very hard to pick the numbers out, but it's run up strongly by one of the forwards there. But 21 minutes of play gone. Ball's been kicked through, but very well taken by fullback Glenn Eyre, who managed to evade 3 or 4 tackles and make a couple of metres. That's a very good take under pressure there. Australians just rucking it out from dummy half at the moment, with Pauling having a run. Josh Stewart's now gone in to dummy half. Let's give it to Horan, who kicks the ball. The referee this time has ruled that he was charged down after kicking the ball, so the Australians have a penalty 15 metres inside the President's 13 half. Horan will put the ball into touch here, and I'm sure we'll see the Australians mount yet some more attacking and try and score another try. Another penalty to Australia. President's 13 inside the 10 metres. This time the tap's taken by Stewart, who goes ahead, turns around, passes off to McElwain, who makes a couple of metres, but is met by 4 defenders. Plays the ball. Stewart passes inside to Danny Williams, but unable to make much ground. Second row Pauling now has a run and comes up 3 or 4 metres short. Referee's called time out. Player appears to have cramps. So the Australians play the ball. It's time to Horan. Out to Craig Simon, who spots a gap and dives over for a very nice try, about 20 metres out from the post. Spotted a gap.
Scored by number 6, Craig Simon.
Put on a bit of acceleration. A nice try scored there. That takes the score to Australia 28, Presidents 13-2. This time it's Glenn Eyre who's going to attempt to convert the try. Unsuccessful. Score remains 28 points to Australia to 2 to the barla Presidents 13. This time a deep kick, gathered well by Ryan, who runs strongly up. Danny Williams manages to slip a good pass to Pauling, backing up there. And the Australians have brought the ball back to the halfway line. Simon spots the gap again and runs strongly, making 30 metres. The ball's cannoned off a player into the arms of the President's side. Some bruising defence there from Sean Ryan and Danny Williams. Nice pass there from the replacement number 16 for the Presidents, but unfortunately the player who caught the ball attempted to get it away after he made a few metres and spilled it. The Australians now go into the attack on the halfway mark. And this time it's McElwain, met by a couple of strong defenders and doesn't make any ground. Out along the back line again. This time Elsgood standing in the back line, passes inside to Horan. The pass has gone astray and been dived on by the President's player. This Ian Dunn has played fairly strongly since he came on as a sub. And this time the hooker John Clark runs it up and makes 8 or 9 metres. He's played the ball forward with no marker being in front of him and makes another 9 or 10 metres. Australians penalised for interfering in the ruck. So we'll see Spencer put the ball into touch, which he does. They're about 10 metres out. Here's a good opportunity now for the Presidents to try and crack the Australian line. Strong run from the prop number 10 there. Kick through by the scrum half. It's been grounded in the in-goal area by the Australians, so they'll now drop out from under the goalposts. Very good run of 30 or 40 metres out of the President's men. Again, interfering in the play the ball penalty. Quick tap taken by the Presidents. Out to number 4. And he's bundled. He's tackled about 3 or 4 metres out. Great chance for the Presidents 13 here to record their first try. Pass back on the inside. Tackle Dan Williams there, and also halfback Harding assisting. Presidents attacking from in front of the post. Again the halfback puts the ball. Puts the ball on the toe. But again a penalty for a late tackle against the Australians. So the Presidents will have another 6 tackles now to try and crack this Australian line.
The Australian man of the match selected by members of the President's 13 management goes to number 4, Tim Horan.
Man of the Match awards just announced there for the Australians. Man of the Match, number 4, Tim Horan. And in the President's 13 side, scrum half, number 7, Ian Smith. Congratulations to both those players. Hooker, number 9, John Clark, attempted to dive over there, but the referees ruled that he was unable to ground the ball and ruled a scrum. Won by the Australians. Knock on against the Australians. So again, we'll see the Presidents with a chance to record their first try. Australians will be trying desperately to keep them out. Scrum win to the Presidents. What they do here. Replacement 16 has just thrown a pass which has been intercepted by Ken Nagus. In turn, Ken Nagus has dropped the ball in the tackle, and so the Presidents go back onto the attack just inside their 22. At the 16 out to number 17 now, Ian Dunn. Still on the 22. Can only be a couple of minutes left in the match. The President's trying desperately hard to crack this Australian defence. Kick through by number 16 for the Presidents. I think the ball's been... Now the Presidents have come up with the ball and they've been pulled down. Only seems inches out from the line. This time, another pass has been intercepted by Horan, and he runs 35 metres. McElwain now makes a couple of metres. We're into injury time now. And it would appear that the Australians again have not allowed the side to cross their line. They're going on to record a good win here tonight at the Watersheddings Oval at Oldham. The President's just rucking the ball out. They're 22 at the moment. Trainer Wright running out to assist an Australian player down on the try line. Perhaps maybe cramps, I'm not so sure. The President's still trying to get out of their 22 area. Penalty Presidents, quick taps taken. They work the ball up to just inside the halfway. Ryan and McElwain in for the tackling then. Presidents now just 3 or 4 metres inside the Australians' half. Last ditch chance to try and score. referees pinched the Australians for reefing the ball. So I guess this may be their last opportunity to crack the Australian line. They'll have to do it from about 25 metres out. And the forwards, 17 I think it is, steams under the ball and makes 8 or 9 or 10 metres. Now we see the ball come out along the back line. And the fullback, Spencer's in. Makes a few metres. 15 metres out. Back to the left. The referee's caught Winger Grogan, I think it was, offside. So there's yet another penalty. The big prop, number 10, barges forward and pulled out only a metre out. Quick hands along the backs. But also equally rather smart defence there, this time from Pauling, to take the man ball and all and cut off the movement. Australians desperately trying to not to concede the try here, and the President's men want to get their first try. However, there's been a penalty rule to Australia, an incorrect play of the ball there against the President's 13 player. Australians are going to take a tap. It's run out strongly by captain tonight, Josh Stewart. McElwain comes onto the ball and makes 7 metres. Now the match Horan looking to unload the ball, but is swarmed upon by the President's defence. Fullback Lanier, clever kick through, manages to nail the number 4 player, Phil Hepworth. Good tackle by Jack Elsgood on his opposing lock forward there. And that's full time in this game, with the Australians running out winners by 28 points to 2.
Anyone wants to see the last match in the Australian Tour, attend at Lee on Friday night, kick-off 7:30 for the British Goal second test.
Just try and get Mike for a few words.
Yeah, whatever.
What's your views on today's game?
Well, it's very bad conditions, but full credit to both sides. I thought the President's 13 is a kicking game, which is one thing that's confused the Australians probably for the first time on the tour. But you can't take anything away really from the fact that the Australians, their ideas, they've got so much fitness quality, and of course they really do put a lot of time and effort into it. And it's a full credit to them that they really were just a little bit too fast and a little bit too too speedy for them, weren't they?
What players have stood out so far for you?
Well, I've been very impressed with virtually the entire squad. You know, it's very hard to be individual. Quite often the Australians played far too individual early in the tour, but I thought that they, when it got round to the major games, the Test match and of course tonight's game, I thought that their kicking game was a lot better, and their tackling, as always, was superb.
Do you give the British any chance on the second test at Lee on Friday?
Well, it'll be very difficult for the British. I think that they've got to probably pick up a few ideas from tonight's game. As I mentioned earlier, I think that the kicking game against the Australians is probably the only way that you can break down their very solid defence. They're a very, very good defensive outfit, whether it be at junior level, schoolboy level, and as we all know, at senior level.